you feel it over here? In the middle! Right here! Rest on our last night! What's up, what's up? Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. TNF, like, comment, share, subscribe, click on that little bell for notifications. Today with us, oh man, a legend right here. He was the front man for SPUDMONSTERS, Run Devil Run, Lifeline, One Life All In, Foose. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but he's also an author. He just penned a book called Motivate Me, which is personal memoirs and coaching, and all around awesome dude, vegan, Hare Krishna devotee. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Foose here in the house.
Hey, thank you.
What's going on,
quite
man?
the
How you
intro,
doing today?
man.
Oh
man.
I try to dap everybody up, you know.
Yeah,
no, you don't need it,
man. I'm not worthy, but thank you.
Of
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, and happy Janmashtami and happy Divine Appearance Day of His Divine Grace Prabhupada.
Appearance,
yeah. You know, I mean, that's a commonality between the two of us. We both share the devotional path. One of us probably better than the other. Yeah, yeah, man. Why don't you kind of we kind of to discuss what you know what the objective of the Krishna Consciousness movement was, and how significant Srila Prabhupada was to the West and to our lives.
Yeah, I think still is. You know, Prabhupada's books. He lives forever in his books. You know, and I just remember the first time I ever got a book from John Joseph, being on tour with the Cro-Mags back in '95. I got that book and I read it like cover to cover, like in a day or two. You know, and I just remember my life changing as a result of that. You know, I had gone vegetarian. I stopped taking intoxication. You know, I just started shaping up in my life. And so many of the questions I had about life were answered like almost instantly just in reading that one book and having those early conversations with John, you know, about Prabhupada and his mission, you know.
He's super dedicated, and you know he was also pretty influential in my own Krishna consciousness, you know, because I read his memoirs and I'm like, man, just everything resonated with me, and I so, you know, identified with all of his struggle. I mean, not all of his struggles, but you know, a lot of his struggles, and that kind of, you know, John was almost like a Vartma Pradarshika guru to me. And to those who don't know what a Vartma Pradarshika guru, it's like somebody who shows you the way of Krishna consciousness, and like,
yeah, shiksha,
so shiksha as well, and you know, somebody who offers guidance and whatnot. And while, you know, I never personally corresponded with John until recently, you know, like the Cro-Mags and Prabhupada's books and all that, like the Krishna core movement were so huge to me. And so you got involved in that. You were playing in SPUDMONSTERS. That's how you came across Devotional Service.
Yeah, you know, we went on tour with the Cro-Mags in '95, and at that time in my life, you know, I didn't know what the purpose of life was. You know, I was boxing in the gym, going to a dead-end job in a warehouse, going through a lot of struggles, kind of wondering what the purpose of life was. And I remember breaking down one night, just crying to myself, just like, and talking to myself and talking to God or whoever you are up there, you know, just send me a sign. I want to know why I'm here. What's the purpose of life? why do bad people, why do bad things happen to good people? Why is the struggle, so real here, So, it was like a day or two later, my phone rang, and it was our guitarist, Chris Andrews, who did the business in the Spud Monsters. So he said, hey, we got an opportunity to do some shows with the Cro-Mags in the States. And that was like my favorite band, Cro-Mags and Bad Brains and stuff. But like, we got to go on tour with them. And the very first night on tour, I met John, and we talked, and he spoke philosophy, and it was so like, it's like when a hungry person like finally eats like a great meal after fasting for a long time. I was absorbing it, and I knew it was like truth, So yeah, we went on that tour, and he had these neck beads, the Tulsi beads, and yeah. So yeah, and he was burning Keshar Chandan incense, the yellow incense, and just everything was like really great, and he took me to the temple once we got to New York City, and yeah, man, consciousness was awakened, and my life started all over again, reboot.
Wow. You started in the Brooklyn temple then?
No, actually, I went to a temple down on 4th and B, down in the Lower East Side. It was the Prabhupada Sankirtan Society. Kapindra Swami was running it, and John took me there because we were on tour going through New York City. We were supposed to be playing at the Coney Island High there, right down in St. Mark's Place. We were doing a show there. So he took me there and got me some neck beads and, the Radha Krishna Temple cassette. We're listening to cassette. Good. That's how old I am. Oh. So, yeah. So, it was cool, man.
Yeah. Did you ever serve as a brahmachari?
In a sense, I did. I practiced as a brahmachari for years.
That's 7 years. Perfect way of wording that, by the way, because I sort of served as a brahmachari, but was a little loose when it came to talking in the kitchen, So
well, I lived in a temple just for a short time in New York. I stayed there at Kapindra's place for a little while just to kind of get fixed up, and trained up a little bit. And then I came back to Cleveland. The SPUDMONSTERS, my band, had started touring quite a bit in Europe at that time. Between 92. Yeah, like 93 and 96, we did like a lot of touring over in Europe. So, like I said, I got trained up. Then I went back over to Europe on tour with the band, wrote a new album. And and I was writing Krishna Conscious lyrics, or thought-provoking lyrics that helps one who's inquiring about the purpose of life, songs based on self-realization,
There's got to be some meaning to the purpose of life. Looks like we got some comments in here. Okay, here I'm gonna field some comments here real quick. Oh snap! Dude is a legend. Wrote a book on raw food. A true yogi.
I'm no legend, but thank you, man. Those are kind words. I wake up and put my pants on the same way.
Where can I find that last book?
Right in my hand.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Yeah, this is the new book. It's called Motivate Me.
I got to get a copy
memoir of inspirational quotes, stories, and life lessons. So over the past couple of years, I had been writing this book based on like motivational quotes that have inspired me in my life and how they correlate in my life. So I post the quote at the beginning of the chapter, and I talk about how it inspired me in what way, and I collaborate on it.
That's awesome. Now, what's the link to that? I'm going to go ahead and put a little link down here so people can.
Thank you.
Be like a little, like CNN news ticker.
Yeah, right. Cool. That's fooseforlife.com. That's my website. Or you can go on my last Facebook post where I posted the link to my website on there. It's Don Foose. If you look for me on Facebook or on Instagram, I also did that, and then Don Foose 108 on Instagram.
All right, now let's see here. Yeah, there we go.
Life. Right.
See, it's like they're giving us minute-to-minute information. Foose for life? Did I get? Yeah.
Fooseforlife.com. There's no exclamation mark, but I don't know if that's somebody.
Oh shit!
Excited.
I should probably change that.
Yeah, maybe
because that would be case sensitive.
Yeah, I guess
see.
so.
Let me comment here. Indomitable Yogi one. It was shoot. It's a little non-responsive. Yeah, John gave me books as well. Definitely a good dude. Yeah, and so many people, talk about him just in such a positive light because he's just out there just doing so much great stuff for, when he was up in New York and for the homeless
Yeah.
community and hardcore devotees and whatnot.
Yeah, he really changed my life, man.
It's incredible. And I had a godbrother that was, he was pretty influential in my life. Doesn't correspond with me anymore, but I am eternally grateful with him for showing me the path. So it's great like that. Now, so you talked about boxing. How long have you been training as a boxer?
Oh, I did it back in the 80s, 90s, and then I started training people in 1998. And I would spar with a lot of the guys I was training. So I mean, I did it off and on for 20 years. And
oh wow,
I got to save a few marbles for the grandkids, so I don't really box anymore. I teach people
stuff. I started. I picked it up within the past few years. A buddy of mine trained with Freddie Roach at his gym.
Oh yeah,
and
he's one of the best trainers of all time, man.
And you look at the guy, and he's like, you're like, that guy is like one of the greatest fighters because he's a little dude. He's shorter than me. And I was like, this guy's like a brawler. You watch his old, what was it, on Freddie Roach or whatever on HBO. And like, he's a little guy, super friendly, came up and talked to me, and then, he was talking to me, oh yeah, Manny comes here, Amir Khan and stuff like that. And I'm like, man,
wow,
that's so dope. And so,
totally.
I really got into that. And a lot of actors, they do it, but they don't spar. Because if they spar, they like fuck up their face. Like Mickey Rourke went to our gym.
Mickey Rourke, Tony Danza,
And so, they what's his name too, brawls? Mario Lopez. He's big.
No kidding. I could see him. But he looks like a typical wrestler, boxer type.
But his face though, like, seems pretty intact, like unless he just doesn't
you wear the headgear, and you could wear the face bar on there if you want.
Yeah,
might help your nose a little bit, but
See, I always thought Mickey's situation was with, like he just got like bad plastic surgery, but then I realized like it just murders your face after years.
Yeah, but he got bad plastic surgery too. I mean, he looks weird now. Yeah,
I like Mickey Rourke, but that's
me too.
True. Now, so did you ever do any like competition or anything?
Yeah. I competed when I could, because the Spuds were touring in Europe quite a bit back when I really got into boxing. And then I got on a few cards, like when I'm in town. But I told them, hey, I can't really commit to stuff that's like 4 months away or whatever. So if you got any pop-ups, I'll jump on them. So yeah, I jumped on those, and I just fought the novice division. But the more I learned, and I trained with a lot of pro fighters, I learned a lot. And
who did you train with?
I trained with Johnny Avon. He was my trainer, but I trained with like Henry Hughes, Wade Popeye Champ.
Wow.
They were small time boxers, but they were pros, and they were good at what they would do. A lot of them were like club type fighters, but a lot of them really understood the theory of boxing and the ins and outs. And boxing's really more of a mental game than it is physical. I mean,
yes.
You have to be mentally strong. You can wear somebody down mentally and physically, but mentally more so.
I've always hearkened it to almost like a meditation, because when I'm up there hitting the bag and stuff, I'm like, I'm grooving, and I feel like I'm in a vibe, and like I'm just, usually listening to music, hitting the bag, and then I finish, and it's this huge catharsis. It's like this release. I'm like, God, I feel great,
Yeah, it's like doing yoga, and when you're in the heat of it, you're like, really, it's intense and stuff. But mentally, you have to stay prepared mentally and focused and keep your eye on the prize. Like Kobe Bryant said, don't rest in the middle, rest in the end. So you got to stay focused while you're in it. And then by the end, then you rest and recollect on what you've done.
A lot of people talk about boxing movies, like, obviously Rocky and Raging Bull are some of the first ones. Have you ever seen a movie called The Harder They Fall with Humphrey Bogart?
No, but I've heard about that. And I just watched one last night, the movie about Mickey Ward with Mark Wahlberg in it. And it was a pretty good movie.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
But the Humphrey Bogart one,
Oh, it's fantastic. It's without giving too much of it away, it's about this guy. He's a boxing promoter, manager, and he enlists this guy. He's from South America. He's real big, but he can't fight worth a damn. And so like they basically have this whole ring where they're, you know, fixing the fights and throwing the fights, you know, until he gets all, you know, and it's oh, I recommend that to everybody, especially
I gotta watch
like
it
boxing
now.
fans. Yeah.
What's the name of it again?
The Harder They Fall.
Yeah, I remember hearing the name of that, but I I was also told to watch it by somebody else too. So I guess sports
movies are so great. I mean, especially boxing movies.
Those are my favorite. Yeah, Rocky
really?
and Raging Bull. Those are just really great movies. And you know,
I'll tell you what, I've only watched the first two Rocky movies. Everybody's like, "No, you got to keep going. You got to keep going." And I'm like, I know everybody's like,
they start to get a little Parmesan on them after the second one, but the first two are amazing, man.
Doesn't he have like a robot in one of them?
I don't know. I watched as far as Drago and.
Then I think the one with the robot is part 5.
Yeah, probably.
Which is where John Avildsen returned to the series after doing the first one or whatever. But, well, that's so. Tell me, like, how are you? Pretty active as far as, because I know Ohio doesn't really have any traditional temples. Like, you were doing a home program there for a while?
Yeah, we had a temple in our home, and with a full gift shop and everything. You know, it was called Prabhupada Manor for the longest time. Yeah, and then sold that place like 6 years ago and moved on. Haven't really reestablished that, but there are home programs that go on around here. Actually, Malati, Prabhupada's one of his personal servants, Malati Devi Das.
Malati Sanyasini Malati?
Yeah, right. She's in town today, actually. There's a program at 2:00, in Cleveland.
It's awesome. She always gives she used to come and teach down at the Krishna House in Gainesville. She always did really good classes.
I've been to Krishna House. I used to love it down there, man.
Yeah, it's funny because we have a mutual acquaintance, my godbrother, Jagannath
Puridam Das.
Yeah, Jagannath Puridam.
I love that guy. He's like my long-lost son. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've never, he always is like, oh yeah, Die on the Die is like my dad, you know?
Yeah.
What a cool dad, you know? Awesome. He and I, we made friends when I was serving as a brahmachari down at the Krishna House in Gainesville. You know, just really, really solid friend. I don't have any earthly blood brothers, but he's probably the closest equivalent. And, you know, I keep saying I keep meeting all the old OGs and hardcore, you know, and they're like older brothers to me now, you know, like they'll call me up and I'll be like, yeah, you know, this is going on. They'll be like, hey, you need to do this, and you know, so it's kind of cool like that, you know. It's like it's a cool dynamic that we got going. So
it's a support system that's endless, you know.
Yeah, Jagannath is great for that. So you're also a yoga instructor too, correct?
No, my wife isn't a yoga instructor, but I practice. I practice.
Oh, okay. I saw you doing all those gnarly moves, and I was like, I assumed you're a teacher.
No. Like, I do like follow yoga instructors, and I've learned some stuff from them. But I just practice it. You know, Raghunath, he's the real instructor, man. Him and Parmananda, you know, those guys are next level. You know, I just show up and listen.
They do some insane stuff. I've seen some of their videos and whatnot. Did you ever tour with Shelter or any of them?
No, but when they would come through on tour or whatever, I'd get together with them, and I'm friends with them. Great guys, every one of them. Just really sweet.
Well, tell Parmananda I said hello, because I ain't heard from him in a while either.
Yeah, I just commented on one of his posts this morning. He's a great devotee, great all around person, and Raghunath, man, he's just always on a mission, you know.
I've actually never met Raghunath.
Yeah, real sweet devotee.
Yeah. I've been told that, you know, he comes down to SoCal all the time because Raghunath Swami does
they're pretty
like
tight
little classes. Yeah.
Right.
So so you know, you were talking about a quote from you said Henry Rollins related, and it was David Lee Roth. Do you mind recounting that story? Because, you know, when you were saying it was so profound, like, it hit me as well.
Yeah, that's actually the first chapter in my book. I tell
Oh,
that
wow.
story. So Henry Rollins was telling a story about David Lee Roth. When David Lee Roth was, he went back to Pasadena, California, where he had gone to high school. He was walking through the streets after Van Halen had become very popular. So he was walking the streets, and a bunch of old classmates saw him, and they're like, "Oh, hey, man, must be nice being David Lee Roth, the lead singer of Van Halen." And he came right over by them and he said, "Listen, on graduation day, we were all in the same starting blocks. You chose that bank job. You're going to die in that cubicle. You know, that's a sure thing." And he said, "I chose to sail the seas of consequence." You know, every time I tell that story, I hear about it. It's just, it gives me chills.
It's fantastic because it's almost like a book title, Sailing the Seas of Consequence, you know?
Yeah, it's funny because that story is so profound in my life that, you know, like here, I'll show you.
Sure.
First chapter, Sailing the Seas of Consequence.
Oh, wow.
In my book. Yeah. So I
so
tend
awesome.
to live my life like that too. You know, it's like I throw caution to the wind and I'm like, I'm going to go for this. This looks cool. You know, I've never been short of, you know, craziness.
Right. We got another comment from Corey. Checking out Don's site right now and already excited to dig into the material.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah,
Corey.
that's great. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, the funny thing is, like, when you look at Van Halen, you know, I've never really been into David Lee Roth's whole shtick or whatever, but like the more I learn about David Lee Roth, and I was telling this to you know, Richie from Fast Break Crush. Well, yeah, obviously. You know,
Oh yeah,
one of your
Richie
videos. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Dude.
What's up, Richie?
Great guy.
Richie. He came on and we were talking about Guns N' Roses. And you know, like Axl always kind of soiled Guns N' Roses for me because just his whole persona. And I got a little of that from David Lee Roth, but like, you know, my dad was telling me, he was like, you know, he's an EMT now. And I was like, an EMT?
Yeah, and people don't even recognize him when he's out. He'll go and save someone's life and just leave and not talk about I'm David Lee Roth, you know? It's cool.
Right. Well, I mean, and you know, I was like, why did he do that? And he said he always wanted to help people. And I'm like, that totally, and then after that story, that
changes
totally
your whole
changed my
perception of the
perspective.
guy. Yeah.
Especially,
and,
you know, me. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you know, like he's got a bucket list. I haven't done this yet. I'm going to do that. He said he had never gone kayaking in like Nigeria before. So he went and did it or whatever, you know. He wanted to go take some sort of Aikido lessons or something over in Japan, and he did it, and he wanted to learn calligraphy. So he just went and did it. So he's a nomad, you know, he just goes and does stuff. And Henry Rollins is the same type of person.
Yeah.
Same kind of mentality. Like I like to follow that type thing. I'm a thrill seeker. I like to go and do things and experience life, you know?
Yeah. Because it's like, you could definitely go and get that cubicle job, and you can go and get that sure thing. It's like, how many people can, you know, say they've toured the world and you know, had some of the greatest times of their lives? Like, you can't buy that. You can't learn that in school. You can't earn it, you know? And so I always try to convey that to people. Like, I don't have any sort of college degree. I'm not educated in the traditional sense, you know, but like, I've done some awesome things, and I'm so like grateful for all my experiences, and those experiences can help like shape us as an individual. They can define us and build character, you know?
Yeah, totally. You know, it's like if you aren't afraid to move forward in your life, you know, if you want to, if there's goals ahead of you, there's going to be failures, and you have to embrace failure. You have to just kind of go for it. And the people that don't succeed in life are the ones that don't take chances. So I've recorded bad albums where I'm like really embarrassed to hear the album, or I've said things in interviews where I'm just embarrassed, but it's like, you got to keep going. You got to go for it, and great things happen, you know? So, you know, I'm recording my 14th album right now with my band One Life All In.
Oh man.
And this is my second book that I've done, and it's like there's more to come, you know? It's like I like steamrolling through life and setting goals and achieving goals.
Yeah, you know, Richie and I were talking. We're like, man, that guy is like insane. He's so dedicated, you know. And he's like, you know, the picture of you where you're jumping up in the air and you know doing the Andrew WK splits or whatever, you know, like that.
Yeah.
That was amazing, you know. And I was like, there must be some sort of secret to it. And you know, like you sent me your book, the raw
Life.
yeah, raw life, and how has veganism like you know changed you as far as health wise, like mental clarity, and specifically with raw veganism? Because you sent me the book, and I was like, you know, I was like, man, I want to do this, but it just seems so difficult, and clearly there's some sort of benefit from it. So you know, why do you choose the raw vegan path over you know just your standard vegan diet?
Well, I don't just eat raw, but that is a huge part of my life is eating raw, because just like Krishna Consciousness, we understand life comes from life. So if we eat things that have living enzymes in them, you know, you look at, like, if you pour a box of cereal in the ground, what's going to grow? Mold. But if you put a seed in the ground, an apple seed, apple tree is going to grow, you know. So it's like you got to
Right.
just, it's simple, you know. So life comes from life. If you're eating living things, those blood cells are going to multiply in an energetic fashion, and it's going to give you vitality and not death. You know,
Right.
disease comes from dead things, you know.
Right, and most people don't understand too, and this is you know when they talk about preparing for Shodom, like the consciousness and the energy that goes into the preparation. You know, most a lot of our foods don't have that. You know, there's not that loving devotion attitude. You know, and look no further than meat eating. You know, like meat eaters, like whenever they say like the grass fed cows and stuff, I'm like, does it really make a difference? You're
Yeah,
killing
right.
the animal, you know, like
Yeah.
the end result's the same, like, you know, so um let me grab that book real quick. It's on my shelf, but
Okay.
you know, what's your like daily like regimen? Go ahead and like kind of like are you as insane as like some people where you know do like the juicer and then the all that?
Yeah, I juice on a daily basis. I've been on a watermelon lemon kick lately, just juicing a lot of that. I do construction also.
Oh,
So,
cool.
you know, we're working long, hot hours lately. And this week, there were 2 days that I poured concrete at 4 in the morning till 7. Then I go to my day job, work 9, 10 hours there, and then go and pour another side job after work. So it's a 16-hour day.
Jeez.
But I'm into high endurance stuff, you know, like I'm doing my workout on a daily basis, but a lot of times being at work is my workout, doing concrete, you know. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty intense stuff. So I like to push myself mentally and physically, you know. It's good for the soul.
Hang on, I'm gonna play a quick video and I'll be right back. Ladies,
All right.
gentlemen, stay tuned.
Yo, I slayed them C's back in the rec room era. My style broke motherfucking backs like him for terror. Most rap niggas came loud but unheard. Once I pulled out, round them off to the nearest third. Check these non-visual niggas with tapes and a portrait. Flood the seminar trying to orbit this corporate industry. But what them niggas can't see must break through like the roof unexpectedly. Protect your neck, my sword still remains imperial. Before I blast the mic, busy scratch off the cereal. We rain all year round from June to June. My niggas bite immediately, if not soon.
I have all your money. Ha ha ha.
That was my little commercial for my merch for my channel, but yeah, here it is. Raw
Pretty
Life.
cool. Yeah. First book.
It's a beautiful book too. I love all
Thank you.
the pictures in here. It
Yeah.
it sounds so difficult though, you know. Like I know people that are so committed to that raw lifestyle, and it's very specific, you know.
Yeah, that book, it's pretty cool. Like when I collaborated with a couple friends, one of my buddies, a great photographer, Kevin Kapansky. When I was making the book, I said, hey, if you can photograph all these preps, you know, for the book, I'll feed you every time you come over, you know. So every one of those photographs in the book, I prepared, and then, you know, we had a little feast afterwards. So and we'd sit in the sauna and
awesome.
talk and stuff. Yeah, it's cool. Just collaborating.
Oh,
Then my
man.
buddy Scott Schumacher put it together as far as.
Okay, so Corey, any plans for an audio adaptation of the books? Owning the physical copy is always the way to go, but I love books like John's PMA effect on Audible, so I can listen on the go.
You know what? I've kicked that idea around, and I probably will do that since I have a little studio. I might be able to put something like that together myself, and that's very thought-provoking, Corey. So I think I might do that. I'm just not going to do the ebooks because I do like a physical book, and I don't know about an ebook.
It hurts your eyes. All the glare of the screen.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. And there's just something about owning a physical book too, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Like feeling the book, and you got pages to look at.
Yeah.
It's like an album or like a CD. You got the booklet, you got the lyrics and all that.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention right here, the Motivate Me book. My buddy Chucky Bank, that's my dude. He helped me with the editing on this. We would sit around and he was a big, huge help in helping me get this book out and going. So Charlie DeLaro's his real name, but I call him Chucky Bank because he works at a bank.
Yeah. It's a great nickname. So did you ever read any of the personal coaches like Napoleon Hill or like Dale Carnegie or any of those guys? Like, they did Think and Grow Rich and How to Win Friends and Influence People.
No, never met any of those guys. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and the PMA is all.
No, did you read them?
I've thumbed through them. I haven't gone head first. You got the Tim Robbins and the Oren Cloughs that are out there. But I take a little bit from what people have to offer. But honestly, everything that Prabhupada's given me in his books has been my catalyst for anything I've done, since I got into Krishna Consciousness. That Prabhupada taught me how to act and how to live generally. And
it's really simple. And, a lot of people say Krishna Consciousness is difficult for the difficult and it's simple for the simple, and
as simple as it gets.
Did you ever grow up
complexity?
Did you ever grow up in did you have a religious background as a child?
My father and mother used to drag me to church every once in a while, me and my sisters, and it never really clicked with me. There was one time I remember sitting in church and the pastor was talking about how Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and I just thought, wow, that Jesus guy really sounds pretty devoted. He sounds pretty cool, to die for somebody. One of my biggest passions in life, or not passions, but I think a person's best character trait is whenever they're loyal and devoted, so
Great.
Hearing about Jesus growing up, really, I remember being in church and being like, wow, he was really devoted and all that stuff. And then as I got older and hearing about how Prabhupada came over on the Jaladuta, steamship, and comes with a little suitcase full of his Bhagavatams and no money, and he had a sponsor. But what was he doing? He gave up in his entire life to come and preach on behalf of his spiritual master. To me, that's a selfless person is the most attractive person out there. It's the best quality in a person.
It's a rare quality too.
It is, because we live in the material world where everybody just steps all over other people just to get ahead. And what do we want more than anything? We want love. We want happiness. And when you meet somebody that's really loving and caring and compassionate, in my book, I have a chapter called The 4 C's. Every relationship we have in this world should have the 4 C's. That's communication, compassion, compromise, and commitment. And whenever you meet personalities that have that, whether it's your significant other or a dear friend or a mentor, that's that foundation, the 4 C's, man, is so important,
Yeah, I agree. Now, did you as far as touring and whatnot, what are some interesting tour experiences that you've had that made have not made it to the collective ether yet? What's a crazy story about maybe something life altering or just something funny?
Well, our first European tour was with Biohazard. That was whenever the SPUDMONSTERS. I was just on Drew Stone's New York Hardcore Chronicles
Yeah,
show
I just came across
2 weeks
that.
ago.
Good show. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. But I was starting to tell this story. We had gone on tour with Biohazard when Urban Discipline first came out. Biohazard's totally blown up on that tour, on that album. And we were supposed to go on tour with Mucky Pup, but that got canceled. But our record label was owed a favor by Carlos Fleischman, who was from Blue Star Productions, and he had the Biohazard tour. So he said, hey, we'll put the SPUDMONSTERS on the Biohazard tour, and all good. So we got over there. First night of the tour, we're playing in it's in Munich at a airport hangar, and we're getting ready to go on, and Evan from Biohazard comes over. He's like, yo, man, don't worry if the people don't move for you. They're just checking you out, just go out there and bust your ass, have a good time. I was like, all right, cool. So I just went out there, you motherfuckers ready or what? And I just got to run and start, did a flip into the crowd, and the crowd went crazy, and we played the whole set, and it just went it was so awesome. Wow. Yeah, so we get off, I'm coming off the side of the stage, and I'm going into the hallway, and I see this big crowd of people, and I'm like, what's going on over there? Is there a fight? And Evan's like, yo, they're buying your guys' merch. They're all standing around. I was like, what? Because who are we? We were just some young punks from Cleveland, Ohio. We didn't know anybody would even know who we were or if they would like us. Because here we are touring Biohazard. They were blowing up. So we just thought we were just the opening act and stuff. But people are buying our stuff. And then I went on to tell how we went to. There were some girls that came up to us, really beautiful girls, and they're like, hey, would you like to come stay at our flat? It would be our honor to have your band. I'm like, what the hell? And we just we go there, we're up all night hanging with these beautiful girls and just,
oh man,
and I remember waking up in the morning and we saw they had this big TV and MTV was on, and our video for a crappy song we had at the time, but it was called Garbage.
It was the Garbage Day song, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds hilarious.
It's kind of like a Murphy's Law type song, Beastie Boys type video.
And
it's a good song.
Hardcore.
Yeah. But looking back at that's one of the things but whatever. So hey, they're playing the video on MTV. I'm like, what the hell? And then the dude after the video goes, that was the SPUDMONSTERS who are currently on tour with Biohazard.
Oh, wow.
And I look over at Scott, our guitar player, and I go, dude, we made it. We're not rich, but we made it, man. And I remember thinking, this is how Motley Crue must feel. It's just kind of funny.
Well, it's always that interesting. I played too, and when the first time I saw one of my albums in stores, I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is crazy, I was calling up my buddies like, yo, check it out, taking pictures, so it's exhilarating and it's surreal, so I think that's great, and it's funny because I did hear that story somewhere else I think it was on the New York was it New York Hardcore Chronicles? I want to be sure I'm getting this right.
New York Hardcore Chronicles. It's in my book too. I wrote about that too. I wrote a lot about touring and stuff.
Oh, and fantastic.
How I've inspired.
Wait, here we got a question. Is it okay to like more elder women than your age?
Of course it is. Women of knowledge.
Yeah. I will say, Pikachu, based on my experience, they're definitely more grounded and the wind is a little bit out of their sails. However, conversely, you're also dealing with, there could be years and years and years of baggage. That is a possibility. So just be aware of that. But all the older women I dated, I loved it. Easier to talk to, let's go here. Okay, let's go here. You want to eat here? Yeah, sure. Great. You want to watch a movie? Sure. I loved it.
Cool.
Kind of random question, but sure. Cool.
Right.
Okay. So you served in the military, correct?
Yeah, I was in the United States Army. I saw you were in the Marine Corps, huh?
Marine Corps, yeah.
Yeah, I was in
Thank
the
you for your
airborne.
service, sir.
Oh, you too. But I was, yeah, I was a teenager when I was in. I went through boot camp. I went through jump school. You know, I went to an airborne unit, and then, you know, after about a year, a little bit over a year, you know, I ran into some trouble, and I ended up.
Same.
Yeah. It's like I knew there were other things, and then shortly after that, I got in the band. You know, and I was like, yeah, that was kind of more my passion. You know, I wanted to go not just see the world with camouflage on, but to like see the world. You know?
Yeah, I had a similar experience, you know, like I didn't have the most illustrious career, and I was in Japan. I remember one of my corporals was like, he was like, "Oh yeah, Strickland, you fucking useless." He's like, "You're going to be nothing more than a Green Day band jock," like that. And then like, you know, I got processed out. Like I said, didn't have the most illustrious career, was kind of a troublemaker, you know. And a few months later, we were opening for Hatebreed. And I wanted to go back so bad to that base and be like, "Look, motherfucker, look what happened." You know?
Right. Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think that military service for me, and I don't know if this was the same for you, but it helped me in my devotional path because it's very similar. Like
100%.
You wake up early in the morning to murdungas rather than trash can lids.
Yeah.
And it's very regimented and it's very structured, you know? Yeah. And that's one of the things I think that kind of attracted me to it was, you know, I like having clear structure and I like, you know, discipline in my own life, you know, because it helps me to stay focused. And I don't know, do you do the corkboard thing that John talks about?
No, I don't even know what that is. What's he talking about?
So, okay, you take a corkboard and you put a bunch of index cards on there and you list like things that you're appreciative of and things that you value in your life. And then you take other ones and you put goals that you want to achieve. Like, okay, long-term, short-term. And then whenever you're done with those goals, you remove that index card. So it's like a visual representation of what you're achieving. And so it's really brilliant. And it helps you stay like focused and like, okay, and then boom, okay, I can remove that one, put that one. It's great.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I have similar things. I don't have a corkboard, but I have a folder where I write down what I'm doing. When I make a goal, I usually try to keep it within a timetable because a goal without a plan isn't really a goal. It's a wish, you know? So it's like, I write it down. I'm like, hey, by May 15th, I want to have this done here. You know, just like the military, if you have some structure, if you have a game plan, if you have knowledge of what you're going to do, what steps next, what your daily regimen is, you know, then you can get through it. Like even in my book here, the new book, I have this quote by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He said, don't work 8 hours a day, 8 hours for a company and then go home and not work on any of your own goals. You're not tired, you're uninspired. So I talk about how this one day I went and I was pouring concrete all day and it was real hot and crazy. And then I came home and I was just totally exhausted. On my to-do list for the day, though, I was going to be writing this very book and I was going to be doing my workout plan. And I was real tired and hungry. Took a shower, ate some food. I did my workout, a light workout, and then I took a shower, had some prasadam, and then I was like, man, I don't know if I have it in me to sit down and like get in the mental state to write. So I opened up this folder where I had some, you know, quotes that inspire me whenever I need that little impetus, you know, to push forward. And that's the quote I came across. Don't work 8 hours for somebody else and then come home and not work on your own dreams, you know? So yeah, I did that. And I was like, I wrote that installment that day whenever I was really tired, and, you know, it's very inspiring. Some people that have read the book already said, hey man, that one chapter 8, like really made me get off my ass today and do something. So I was like, cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, I constantly am inspired by people that are just achieving their goals and just out there hustling and doing stuff, you know? And I mean, I see that within the hardcore scene and with the devotees and whatnot. And it's so inspiring to me. John Walker says, have you guys been to India?
You first.
Oh, yeah. I got to go to India in 2016. I was initiated on Sri Gadadhar Pandit's appearance day in the Holy Dham of Mayapur. Yeah, it was, man, I lucked out with that one. And we went to Vrindavan and also Delhi. And I think I spent some time in the Mumbai airport, where if you get Subway there, the vegetables are not fresh. So
Eat fresh unless you're in India.
Yeah, I loved India. And you, sir?
Yeah, I was there in 2002, and I was in New Delhi, Vrindavan, Mumbai, and Pune. And I had some friends getting married over in Pune, which is kind of like a college town, but they have a great temple there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, getting there.
Pune is a college town?
Yeah, it's kind of a college town, but great.
What do they study, like business and...
Yeah, I don't even know, but that's what everyone told me. Oh, yeah, it's a college town, but
okay.
It's.
Did you hit Rishikesh?
No. Those were the only major cities I got to, but I loved it. Like Vrindavan, I guess everyone's telling me has changed so much. In 2002, it was, it wasn't like over, it wasn't as crazy as it is now. Now it's become like a real big city.
Right. Yeah. It was a little disappointing going to certain parts of India, because it's like when you're inside the walls of the temple, everything generally typically pretty nice. And you walk out, literally, you only have to step outside the gate, and it's just a completely different vibe and a completely different atmosphere out there. It was crazy.
It is. It's a third world country over there in a lot of ways, like from the rickshaw wallahs trying to rip you off or whatever, it's like, I thought this is where spiritual people were. There was even a brahmachari at the temple. The brahmachari at the temple, my wife at the time was with me, and he grabbed her chest, and she's like, hey, this guy just grabbed my chest. And I was like, what? It's just even
that happened to me in Vrindavan. I was out there with my god sister in one of the bazaars because we were looking for I think dhotis or something like that, and these guys just literally went up and just grabbed her. And I was like, I shoved him away, and I reeled back, and I was like, you better get back, and they were all giggling and laughing. And I was like, this isn't funny. I was like, this is not appropriate. I said, I don't know what the culture teaches about, women, but like, it's just it was disgusting. Like, I was like, I'm going to get in a fight in the Holy Dham. I was like, I can't.
That's what I felt like too. The way I felt too, like even some rickshaw wallah like took us, I don't know, maybe a 10-minute ride up the way, and he was trying to get me for $20. And I got sick of it. I'm like, listen, guy, I'm putting my money on me. You want to fight? And I'm like, and I just threw like $1 or $2 at him, which is generous there. I mean, it's
right.
I'm like,
well, when you haggle there, sometimes you're just haggling over like, cents, and it's like, I didn't even haggle with him sometimes because I brought enough money over there, and like I still had money left over like 3 or 4 months later. I was like, I can't believe this. I never have, so I don't mind so much like when it comes to like little things, but like if it's consistent and it like a big dollar amount that they try to like, scam you out of. Nah.
Well, that's the thing. You have to agree before you get the service done, or they'll like try and hammer you. And I'm like, all right, I'm not from the suburbs, buddy. Like, you're not getting it.
Corey says, having a personal journal, even if you take down a few notes a day, I feel is so therapeutic. There's something special about being able to look back at the days gone by.
Yeah. I encourage that too, because that's like my book Motivate Me. I was, recounting my early life, and I wish that, I did journal as a young kid, but I wish that I had done more. So that's a very good idea there. Keep a journal always.
Definitely. And one thing I've learned from writing too, because I write myself, even just write something a little bit every day, whether it's like your personal thoughts or reflections, because to me, it became part of my routine when I implemented that, and just whether it be a reflection or a thought, just put it on paper, and at least then you're sticking to your commitment of writing every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like being a writer also, like I never really thought of myself as a writer, but it's very therapeutic to write. If you're writing about something that was disturbing in your life or painful in your life, it really helps bring that out and cleanse you, to help you just to talk about it, bring it to the ether. Like you said, it's very, very therapeutic. So there's a lot of people that are holding on to a lot of baggage from their youth or whatever. And it's like, even if you just journal, bring it out there, write it down. It helps to relieve a lot of the pressure and the pain.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even any sort of creative outlet, like just something to get any sort of pent up energy and just volatility out there, like that's always been helpful to me since I was a kid,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you have any authors or like books that inspire you? I mean, obviously Bhagavad Gita.
Oh yeah. Like anything that Prabhupada's ever written, that's my life, that, but I mean, there's some, I just read Hicks and Gracie's book, and that's pretty amazing to read about how mentally strong you can be. Wim Hof is another one that like mental toughness, things that strengthen you mentally are really appealing to me. When I work out and I get towards what I think is the end of my workout, and then I say, all right, I'm really only at 40 or 50% of my capacity. I know this, and push on and mentally get through that. That's, like Muhammad Ali used to say, I got some Muhammad Ali quotes in here too that,
oh, nice.
He said, I wanted to quit, whenever I was training, but he didn't, because he said, suffer now, but live forever as a champion. Put the pain in right now for a higher purpose in the end. So spiritual life is very much like that. When you're dealing with austerities like fasting on Jamashtami, fasting on Prabhupada's appearance or Ekadashi, that's austerity is meant to build our character.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. As far as coming to Krishna consciousness, where would be like a good place for somebody to start as far as, if they're just kind of getting into it and they're just becoming interested, like what do you think a good book for them to dive into it would be with?
Well, I always say The Science of Self-Realization, because there's a lot of like cool little interviews. You're getting direct instruction from like Prabhupada by reading that book, or any of those small ones, the Bhakti Yoga books, the
small
On
books.
the Way to Krishna, Yeah.
So, now, are you inspired by any like films or do you watch movies or television shows or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I always like to laugh, like Wedding Crashers, a funny movie, Tommy Boy, just dumb humor. Dumb bathroom humor. It's just
dumb, irreverent humor. It's the cheapest humor, but it's so effective,
Yeah, because you know how good it makes you feel when you laugh, and you laugh nonstop. Any Will Ferrell movie, just dumb.
What about Naked Gun?
Yeah, that goes way back to whenever I was a kid. I was younger. Yeah, that kind of dumb bathroom humor. It's just funny. But there's like I'm a real sensitive person though too. Like I like chick flicks and stuff like that.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm not really big on drama or like horror movies or anything.
Wow.
Yeah, chick flicks. I mean, who doesn't like a good love story?
Well, I'll tell you a chick flick. I mean, I guess I like a few, but not in the traditional sense. Like not like a Jennifer Aniston will put out like 30 movies with the same title and cover. You know what I'm saying? But then like she's a different character and this is a different scenario. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But Harry Met Sally is a good one. That one's really funny.
Just any movie where the underdog hooks up and gets with the beautiful girl. Those are inspiring to like people, you know, it's
So it usually doesn't always happen that way, but
yeah, right. Those are the happy.
You can't say anything fucking next to her window. You're just gonna be in trouble. No, The Fountain. Have you ever seen The Fountain with Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz? It's not like a romantic comedy, but it's like takes place in 3 different time periods. Like he's a conquistador. It takes place present day, and then he's like a yogi in the future.
No, I've
Yeah.
never seen that one.
Oh, fantastic! Highly recommended. And then Punch Drunk Love. That one.
Never heard that one either.
Oh, that one is Paul Thomas Anderson that directed like Boogie Nights and There Will Be Blood, and it's got Adam Sandler in it. Now,
yeah, he's probably a different character though. He's not dumb.
He's a completely different character. He's
Right,
not like his goofy like comedies like Billy Madison and stuff. It's a very serious role for him, and he's fantastic in it. I'd say that's the best thing I've ever seen Adam Sandler ever do. And
Really?
it's sad. It's a sad movie, but it's also it gives you hope too, you know. So
Yeah.
Punch Drunk
I
Love.
like stuff like that, you know. It's like
He finds a harmonium in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a part where he finds a harmonium and it was about to get run over in the street and he picks it up and pulls it back. Yeah.
I bought one back in the day when I was in Vrindavan down in the Loy Bazaar, and
Did you?
Yeah, and I got a Murdunga when I was there too.
That's awesome. Now, what do you like? What's your daily routine like? Are you physically active in the morning? Do you go and do that, and then kind of do your day job, or when you work? I bet you don't do anything.
Well, with the exception of the past week where I did a couple 4 a.m. pours. Usually I'm up at like 4 o'clock. I do RT, japa, try to listen to something motivational. When you wake up in the morning and you do your sadhana, that's meant to put your armor on so that when you go out in the material world, all that negativity doesn't wear on you. You can be the influence rather than take someone's influence. So it's important to me to put on my armor before I leave the house. And then I go to work. I do construction, so I'll pour concrete every day. And after work, I either do more side work or whatever. But like to
we never answered Corey. Breathe by Rickson Gracie is a great book.
Yeah, that's great. That's the one I read. That's an amazing book.
I'll definitely have to check it out. Now, let's see here. What else we got?
But for my evenings, though, I have to add that I usually have either writing or something. I have stuff on my bucket list that I want to work on. Like just the other day, I was working more on my website, getting more shirts made, getting hoodies made. The books are out there. I'm getting hardbound books right now, currently being made.
Nice.
So I'm jumping, I'm hustling. I got my rod and many fires.
I got to cop some shirts from you, man. I got to represent.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool. I guess that would be a perfect opportunity to, like I did. I played the video earlier, but I've actually got some of the stuff right now. The official Tea and Fuckery shirts.
Those.
Pick one of those up, and I'll be sure to send you one of these too. Yeah. This is Next Level. Really, these shirts are so comfy, and I'm not just saying that because I'm selling them. Like they are comfy.
What kind is it? Is it like a ring spun shirt?
I'm not sure, but it's.
What's the tag say?
It's Next Level. Forgive me, I need glasses and I can't read, but it's Next Level. 50% polyester, 25 cotton, 25 rayon. It feels amazing. And
that's the thing. I don't like the standard concert shirts, the Gildan, and they're all hard and the sleeves are all wide and stuff. I always print ring spun, soft style shirts that fit to the body and they're real comfortable. I'm the same way, dude.
Well, especially now that everybody's charging these insane rates for t-shirts, it's like you want to get a good quality t-shirt, you know? Like I bought a t-shirt the other day. I think it was a band t-shirt, but it was like $30 or something like that. And I'm like, I want a good shirt, you know, like I want something that's gonna last me. There are certain shirts. I worked for a print shop in DTLA where they would send us like these shirts in bulk, and literally they smelled like the dye that was on the shirt. That's how cheap these shirts were. It was awful.
I spend more money on, like, I'm getting these hoodies made and it costs almost $50 just to print them. The quality, the hoodies are like the most amazing, like comfortable hoodie I've ever had. Just such great quality. And then I have one that's, I'm going to have to charge a little bit more for them, but they're worth it, you know?
What's the brand?
The brand is Comfort Colors. You can't find them for less than like 45, 46 bucks or 42 bucks. And then my guy's going to print them and it'd be like $50 just to print them. You got to mark it up a little bit so that, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but it's worth it.
Sucks, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like to say, I'd rather sell one diamond than 1,000 bananas. You know, it's like, I like to put first class product out, you know, even if I have to charge a little more,
shell out a little bit,
pay a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, you'd rather have something good that's going to last you a while than, you know, subpar quality, right?
Yeah, right. Like you saw the Raw Life book. I put a lot of time and effort, and it's a hardbound book.
It's beautiful.
It's a hardbound book with a dust jacket, 80-pound paper with colored photos on every page. Yeah. So it's like it cost a lot of money to make that book, but it's worth it because, like Prabhupada used to say, you know, like be first class, you know, because there's less competition there. You know, do things first class.
Yeah, well, that immediately, you know, you're a mark of quality, so people are going to gravitate towards your stuff. Also, got these stickers too, 3.5-inch vinyl stickers. You can put them on your and if you buy the shirt, this is to the audience. If you buy the shirt and the stickers, you also get a free pocket Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, those are great. I love those.
Yeah, original translation. You know Madua?
Yeah, Madua's my dude, man. Festival of India.
Yeah, Madua hooked me up with that box.
He's amazing.
It's and it's a great way, I think, to be able to give back, you know, what was given to me, like this profound spiritual knowledge, you know, like it's invaluable.
Yeah, that's great.
What do you make of what's going on in the world today? Like, you know, all the craziness, all the past few years.
Well, since time immemorial, things have been crazy. Not so much in Satya Yuga or Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. It's Kali Yuga is like, since Kali Yuga has come around, I mean, it's hellish, man. Like you even hear John Joseph's story about some of the crap that dude's been through in his life, you know, or because the internet is, you know, everything is right in your face now. I think everything has always been crazy, but now it's just right in our face and we're witnessing it. You know, there's a camera in everyone's hand with their cell phone. So videos bring it out. You know, you never really used to hear about child molesters whenever you were younger or murderers. It was just far and few in between. But now as time goes on, it's harder for people to get away with this stuff and you're just hearing more about it, you know? Right. But yeah, the world's a hellish place. This is no place for a gentleman, Prabhupada said, you know, and we got to get out of here.
When Srila Prabhupada said, you know, politics isn't that important, I noticed that, you know, and I've done videos on it before too, but we live in a pretty politically polarized era. Yeah. Is he saying that we shouldn't focus on politics or political systems at all? Because we all know they do play somewhat of a factor into our daily lives.
Yeah, I think, you know, Prabhupada knew that there's no real politicians that are like this. It's not like the kings of old that looked out for everybody's well-being. Everybody in their care was cared for. Everyone had a job. Everyone had a house and clothing and all the necessities of life. That's what a king's really supposed to do. And ultimately, the king is supposed to make sure everyone's God conscious, Krishna conscious, you know. So unless your leaders are doing that, they're not really filling the role. Like King Ambarish, that was a real king, you know, like.
Yeah, you know, somebody the other day said, they said something about animal killing, eating meat. They say God gave us animals God gave us dominion over the animals. And I had to explain to them, dominion doesn't mean wantonly slaughtering people. Dominion means like you're a king that has dominion over his subjects. Yes, he could go and slaughter all his, all the servants and subjects, but people just think he was a dick, so he has to treat people, I mean, people, well, that's probably an understatement, but people, you have to treat people with respect, and people will think you're like a benevolent king and whatnot. But if you're just going around and killing everybody, like, with the whole animal situation, factory farming and stuff like that, where's the good in that?
Yeah, like you said, dominion, like a first grade teacher has dominion over their students. It doesn't mean you chop them up and deep fry them and eat them, Right. You guide them, you take care of them. They're under your direction, under your discipline. That's what the word disciple means. You're under the discipline of somebody who's in a position that can lead you. And that's what dominion is really meant to be. So, we're not meant to kill and eat animals. We're just not, I mean, if we can live on plant-based foods, do
you mind explaining that a little bit to people? Because, I always, I always say, like, look, humans, we don't have incisors, we don't have,
we have flat teeth.
Right. We don't have the digestive enzymes.
Right. We have, like, a horse has flat teeth. A cow has flat teeth. Rabbit, flat teeth. Look at all the animals that have flat teeth. They have something in common. They all eat vegetation only. You put meat in front of them, they will not eat it. Yep. You look at animal, and they also have a very long intestinal tract. Now you look at animals with fangs. Tigers, lions, dogs, cats, they all have fangs. They have a body fit for consuming meat. And they also have a very short intestinal tract. So when that food goes in, it goes right out. Yeah. But when we have these long intestines, meat goes in there, gets putrid, and disease as a result of that. So, I mean, scientifically, we can prove right there that we're not really meant to eat meat as human beings. So common sense tells us that if we can live on vegetation, fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, all that, Right. And it sounds boring, but if you go into Whole Foods, I mean, we've come such a long way. Back in the 90s, whenever I went vegetarian, I was like, tofu or maybe hummus, or it wasn't much.
You had the rice stream ice cream, and that was it. And
that was great.
I give mad props to the vegans that came before the present day ones, because they really forged the fire of getting vegan products out in stores. Because like you said, there wasn't even late 90s, early 2000s, there wasn't jack, man. And being a vegan on tour being a vegan on tour can be difficult. I think right now everybody's so spoiled. We've got social media, and we've got Happy Cow and all those apps and stuff, and just accessibility in the grocery stores. But back in the day, if you're in Oklahoma or something, you're trying to find something to eat, you're be on the lookout, because it's not going to necessarily be right there, and I don't know if you ever did the Taco Bell bean burritos with no cheese. Those are $3 for $5,
Yeah. But the funny thing about it is, when we would book our tours, over in Europe and in the States, I would always influence who was booking the show. Either our management was booking, or there were times whenever I was helping out with some of the bookings, I would always make sure we were near a Hare Krishna temple, because it was like, I got to eat, and I want to, so I would go to the temple, and I'd be driving our bus. We bought a school bus from Chippewa Lake School Systems, and I did the night shift driving the bus to the next town, and I would go off the track for maybe an hour out of the way just to go to a temple for Mongol Arti and get prasadam for the guys, so. Yeah, whenever I'm on tour or when I've been on tour, I was always like, where's a temple? Where's a health food store? It's all about eating. I would always bring my juicer with me, plug it in wherever I could find electricity,
Now I feel bad that I
bring
made the comment about the people who are insane about like their diet and stuff. I was like, yeah, like they got juicers, and well, I have a juicer. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, but
No.
don't feel bad. I mean, it's like
I love the
that
juicer
was some,
actually.
yeah.
Like
people in juice fasting, so
yeah, I started doing the wheatgrass, and I tell you what, like a shot of wheatgrass every morning, boom, I just felt so great. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, wheatgrass is great. It's, a shot of wheatgrass is the equivalent of eating 5 pounds of dark greens.
Is that right?
Yeah, one ounce of wheatgrass is like eating 5 pounds of dark green leafy vegetables. So drink your wheatgrass, kids.
I don't really like to eat like high volumes of vegetables. I love vegetables, but not like when they're like, oh yeah, you need like 12 to 14 cups of leafy greens. I'm like, I can't eat that much. I was like,
right.
So I get them in like the Boathouse Farms, like drinks and stuff like that. Those are great.
Yeah, those are really high in sugar though.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, definitely.
It tastes good though.
Now, so you're doing One Life All In. Are you doing any other projects with that as well? Like
That's it. One Life All In. This is our last album.
Oh shit.
It's Letter of Forgiveness, and no, that's the only band I'm doing right now, and we just are finishing up our brand new album right now, mixing. We had to be a little creative with this album because of COVID. We had to cancel a few European tours. I was supposed to go there to record. I always go. My band lives in France, in Lyon, France, so I fly over there to record, shoot videos, tour, and.
Do you know Namamrita?
Yes.
Yeah, the pilot Namamrita.
No, I know Namamrita from New York.
Oh, he's God, I can't think of his dad's name, his initiated name. The author, Green.
I don't know.
Oh, anyway, he's from France. He's a pilot, hardcore dude.
Oh,
so yeah,
that's pretty cool. Are you in New York or are you in California?
I'm currently in North Carolina. I'm actually hopping on a plane to head to LA tomorrow. So
okay,
I'm thinking about landing there again. Here's the thing, I know a lot of people, like I mentioned this on the show, but like, living in a town where you're a single dude and it's largely like conservative oriented and the activities are limited to things you can take your kids to, kind of sucks. I don't mind necessarily so much being in the big city just because it's stimulating to me and it gives me, things to do.
That's cool.
You live in Cleveland proper?
Yeah. Well, in Bay Village, which is maybe 10 minutes from downtown Cleveland. I'm right on the coast, right there on Lake Erie. So literally it's 5 miles up the road from me. But I was gonna say, I thought maybe you were in New York, but I'm gonna be doing a book signing in New York City at the Organic Grill with Drew Stone, the New York Hardcore Chronicles. They do a New York Hardcore Chronicles brunch at this Organic Grill restaurant there. So I'm gonna be doing a book signing there October 15th. It's on a Saturday. I believe it's at like noon or 2. I'll be posting a poster on that coming up soon.
Well, Prabhu, I've been sailing the seas of consequence, so I think I will definitely try to go up there and make it. Yeah, doing the bohemian thing and just like,
dude, that would be great if you could make it. That would be so cool, man. I would love to meet you in person and hang out, maybe go to the temple, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been up to the Brooklyn Temple a few times.
I'd love to go see the deities there in Brooklyn. They're beautiful.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'll tell you what. I'll go. I gotta go out there now.
All right, October 15th.
October 15th. That's gonna be fantastic. Did you guys ever play the Tompkins Square Park show?
Never played Tompkins Square Park. Like the Spud Monsters, we played CBGB's, Coney Island High. We played in what's that place in Long Island? It was a real popular club. I can't even think of it. Everything's a blur. No, but we played over on Houston and Bleecker. What was that place called? It was like some.
I never played up in Long Island.
Yeah, well, that was in Lower East Side, Manhattan.
Oh, I never played there either.
Yeah, but
never done a proper tour, unfortunately. Like I was always a weekend warrior. We do like 3 dates, and
Oh, those are fun. You know.
And they're less committal than a full tour. And I liked them, but Richie's got all these great stories. Chubby Fresh has got all these great stories, and I have nothing. Like I'm like, yeah, we, got in a scuffle in a parking lot one time. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But okay, so as far as bands that influenced you, like, give me your top three bands you feel like that influenced you.
You were mentioning that the other day whenever you said, hey, maybe let me know about some bands that influenced you. And it's so impossible to boil it down. It's like there's so many bands, and I kind of put a top 10 together of bands that really changed my life, the way I thought, set me in a new direction. And that was coming out of punk rock. You had your Minor Threats, your Black Flag, Circle Jerks, all that stuff. But whenever it turned into hardcore, like Cro-Mag's Age of Quarrel, that was a huge transitional point in my life. There's got to be some meaning to the purpose of life. I know there must be more than the struggle and strife. Hearing those words where lyrics, it wasn't like Iron Maiden. I listened to metal back in the day, but those lyrics didn't affect me at all. It was all castles and dragons and bullshit, So Cro-Mag's Age of Quarrel, that changed my life. Agnostic Front, hearing Victim in Pain, what an album, man, that changed my direction. Judge, Bringing It Down, wow, man, that was so album. Heavy and in your face and positive aggression, and what a great message. Crumbsuckers, Life of Dreams, I love that album, man. All these albums that I'm telling you, man, are from the beginning to the end, it's just great. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was going to say Bad Religion, Suffer. That album's great.
Oh, yeah.
Beginning to end. Youth of Today, We're Not in This Alone. Beginning to end, just great album. Biohazard, man. Urban Discipline. They were kind of like Cro-Mag.
I just got into Biohazard within the past few years. And everybody's like, what? How are you in hardcore? And you never really got into Biohazard. I'm like, hear me out for a second. When I was growing up, I did know who Biohazard was, but unfortunately they got lumped in with a lot of the stupid rap rock bands of the day. I think that album came out on Roadrunner, and so it was.
Yeah, the first album came out on Maze Records, which was a good album, but then Urban Discipline, that was Roadrunner, that was their debut.
Yeah, and so they got lumped in with bands like Limp Bizkit and stuff like that, and I'm like. Yeah. The more I listen to it, I'm like, it's not really like that at all, it's more just got that New York bounce, like Madball or something like that.
Yeah, Madball too, another great band. Set it off, man. Wow.
Yeah. There was a song I used to play off their EP. I worked in a kitchen, and it was
Smell the Bacon or whatever.
No, it was a bunch of Cuban and Mexican employees there. And they would always make fun of me. They would call me payaso, which meant clown in Spanish. They'd be like, pinche payaso, fucking clown or whatever. Yeah, and I would be like, why do you call me that? And it offended me at first, but then I was just rolled with it, And then I played Madball's for my family song they have a Spanish translation on their New York hardcore EP or whatever. And I put it on in the stereo, and they were all like, yeah, this is what's up, and they they treated me differently after that, because it was a exchange of common culture,
Yeah, it was great, Madball, Biohazard, even bands like Life of Agony. They all added this groove to the hardcore that was missing, and that was a new avenue. And then Shelter, the Mantra album, when I was getting into Krishna Consciousness, hearing that that had a deep effect on me,
Also on Roadrunner.
yeah, right. And with SPUDMONSTERS, we did our album Moment of Truth at the same studio where they did that in Normandy Sound in Rhode Island with Tom Sawyer. Wow. Yeah, and that was really cool, great. The Judge, Bringing It Down, that was recorded at Normandy Sound. Agnostic Front, Cro-Mags, Leeway, Sick of It All, they all recorded there. So it was such a big honor for us to work with Tom Soares and in his studio. And then SPUDMONSTERS Moment of Truth album. It's a great sounding album, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that I didn't grow up in that era of all the classic hardcore. I came in towards late 90s, and there was this whole slew of bands that I wish I could have just been there to experience.
Yeah, it was really special, like seeing some of these bands in there. Like I saw the Cro-Mags just when Age of Quarrel came out, and it was like really freaking cool. Seeing Circle Jerks way back in the day, and like some of these
I run
bands.
into that guy all the time, Keith Morris.
Oh yeah, he's pretty funny. I met him.
He's great. Yeah, I run into him all the time. Now, okay, so if you had, I guess one. Nah, scrap that question because I guess it's kind of related to the whole. Oh no! Here we go. Favorite place to play in the world?
Oh man,
International.
The Marquee Club in London, England was probably the coolest place. That I don't know. It had a lot of nostalgia. That I played at CBGB's too. That was cool, but at the Marquee Club, the Doors played there. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, like the Rolling Stones, big bands played at this club, and there's so much history. Now it's a restaurant, and they have the big plaques about, hey, these big bands played there. So that was cool for nostalgia's sake. But there's like some really cool clubs all over. There's a place in Switzerland called the Bad Bomb. Place maybe holds 100 people, but every time we would play there, it's this tiny bar, and then they have this tent that they build off the side of it, and the band plays in the tent, and it's just a really cool vibe. You're in Switzerland in the Alps, and there's this place. Yeah, and it's just a really cool little club. But there's some great clubs all over the world that I love to play, you know.
Yeah, Richie, you had mentioned Munich earlier. Richie, and I can't remember who he was talking to, he was like, Munich's one of the best like hardcore scenes ever. Yeah,
really cool there. And then in where can't remember the name of the city offhand. There's this
in Germany.
No, there's a great place in Belgium, and I'm just brain farting
Brussels?
right now. It's where the Bebop Club was. I totally know this too. I'm drawing a blank right now. But what a great club that was. It was called the Bebop, and there's just great clubs where you're coming in, you're like, this is going to be a great show. I don't care, who shows up. It's just going to be awesome,
Yeah. You ever been to Japan?
No, we were supposed to play there in Run Devil Run, and that fell apart.
They've got a really amazing scene, and I think I talked with Richie about this because you start playing, the bands will start playing, and then the audience kind of goes crazy. As soon as the song's over and the front man starts talking, the crowd
they listen.
And it's the most surreal thing you'll ever. I saw this done for Eminem. Like the whole crowd, hundreds and hundreds of people, completely silent.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And Saves the Day played there, and Chris from Saves the Day was like, you guys are the most politest audience ever.
Yeah.
You could do a pin drop. It was insane.
Yeah. Oh, there's a club in Czech Republic. It's called the Bar, and it's a really cool place. It's in Topolchany. It's called the Bar, and the owner's like a really cool guy, and then the promoter really cool guys, and just amazing there too.
Do bands ever play in India? Because I saw a documentary here about Meshuggah going to India, and I guess
I heard about that too.
Yeah, it's a really good documentary, and I don't think it's something very common, and I wonder why.
There's not a big market in India because India still is a traditional country where it is Vaishnav, tabla, mridanga, kartals, there's Bollywood, all that stuff. It's all that, rock and roll's made its way in there, but it's not. And bands do come through, but it's not like dime a dozen every street corner. There's some hardcore show. Especially
since it'd be so freaking hard to tour there, Like I remember I got picked up at the airport in Kolkata, and it was like 2 a.m, and I was with a bunch of Russians, and I remember I was in the back of a 15-passenger van, and they have no infrastructure there, so you're sitting there just driving on these dirt roads. Single lane dirt roads. And in order to pass somebody, you got to pull over onto the shoulder and honk your. And I remember every time they honk their horn, it would be right next to my ear. And I'm God, you know, like Jesus.
Yeah.
And
there'd be cows in the street too. And if there's a cow, you have to sit there and wait for them. You can't push them along or anything. That's like sacred cow.
And white knuckle too. I don't think I've seen crazier driving ever in my life. That
I thought I was going to die every time I got in a car there.
Dude, like we were going into the airport. I think it was in Delhi. And it was like 20 lanes of traffic that just all merged into like 3. You know, I was like, oh my God, this is insane.
Yeah.
Well, hey, brother, I'm going to go ahead and sign us off here. But we went for about an hour and a half, so that's pretty good. Go ahead and plug anything. What do you got? You got the book. You got One Life All In.
Yeah, One Life All In. The new album's going to be coming out soon. We're just going through mixing. I have just got one of the newer mixes the other day. I haven't even had a chance to listen to it. So, the new One Life All In, it's really cool. It's really versatile, but man, it's got the hardcore roots in there. But man, there's all kinds of elements of, you know, you got your groove in there. You got tribal beats, breakdowns, everything, man. And I think it's the best thing we've ever done. So that's coming out soon. My book right here, Motivate Me. It's out now. Go to my website, www.fooseforlife.com, and you can see that right there at the bottom on the streamer.
Yeah, I got the little ticker. I'm glad I paid for this thing. It's so convenient. When I did the show with John, I had a free Zoom thing, and I remember it kicked me off at like 45 or 50 minutes, and I was like, oh no. I was like in the middle of it. And
this is great though.
It's called StreamYard to anybody.
I did that with Drew, but I didn't realize I could do it just on my phone.
It's so easy. All you have to do is send somebody, like I did with you. You send somebody a link, and then it's just boom, they're just in, you know. And it's so interactive. Like I can add my little watermark and all that, you know. So it's great. But oh man, I lost my train of thought. Help me out, audience.
No, but you were gonna.
Corey says great conversation.
Oh, great! Thanks, Corey. But I just wanted to thank you for having me on and for having this show. It's a great avenue to like to get to know people and to promote what you're doing. You know, I'm promoting my new book and
nonsense and shenanigans, nonsense, and some occasional spirituality.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. And I just wanted to thank you for having me, and I wanted to also
thank you for coming.
I wanted to thank my buddy Chucky Banks for helping me out with the book, you know, lately, you know, answering my calls and stuff. So
shout out to John.
The hardbound book's coming out too, man.
Yeah. And like I said, pick up Motivate Me. We'll go ahead and show the books again. We got Raw Life, pick that one up, and you got Motivate Me.
I got Motivate Me out now.
Yeah. And I'll post all the links
coming up soon. What's that?
I'll post all the I'll post all the links to your social media and your website in the comment section after we air this. So any final parting words?
No, man, chant, dance, and be happy, man. Like the purpose of life is to reconnect with God. The word religion, religio, I believe it is in what is that? Greek, means to realign. Religion, realign. Supposed to realign our relationship with God. So, you know, purpose of life is to reconnect and you know, break free from these material weeds that are choking us to death. So thanks for having me on, brother. And
that is profound. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna sign off here. I'll stick around and talk to you for a minute. But guys, everybody, thank you so much. Follow Don on all his platforms, buy his book, Motivate Me, Raw Life, Huddy Ball. Click on that subscribe button, click on the little bell for notifications, do all that. Don Foose, namaste, God bless.
Hare Krishna, brother.
Krishna. All right. And now it's time to fire up the